Tobias, I received a worrying phone call earlier. I'm supposed to be picking something to wear for my date with Hannah, but now I can't focus. Not with this growing knot in my belly. Ford Hotels have built 2 new hotels in Europe, and it's tradition that the CEO, me, visits all hotels before their grand opening and gives special training to my employees. It's a tradition I started so that our concept and goals stay within the company. When newly hired people get to meet me, their morale is usually raised. So normally, this trip would be seen as something fun. I love traveling, but the thought of being away from Hannah doesn't sit right with me. She has college, and I wouldn't have much time for her if I brought her with me anyway. It's better if she stays. But 6 weeks without her. How can I handle 3 weeks in Sweden and then 3 weeks in Spain while knowing she is at home alone? It's still 2 weeks before I leave, but time passes quickly. I fix my tie and leave the bedroom. Hannah is curling her blonde hair outside in the corridor. She smiles at me in the mirror as I stalk toward her. Her white dress hugs her in all the right places, and I put my arms around her waist, inhaling the scent of perfume on her neck. You smell like a flower. My head is already filling with bad thoughts. The more I inhale her, the stronger the urge to stay home. It's a new perfume. I love it. I'm wearing new underwear too, bought with your credit card. What color? I ask. Your favorite red. Her tone is teasing. Oh, I like that color a lot on you, my cock agrees. It took him about 3 seconds before he joined this conversation. That's why I picked red underwear. It's AG-string and more comfortable than I thought. I stifle a groan and press my lips against the side of her head, murmuring right underneath her ear. Perhaps we should stay home instead. Undressing you sounds like a good idea. She giggles and tilts her head to give me better access to her neck. I kiss her there while my hands skim down her sides. She is a cute little thing, and I don't know how I will survive more than a month without her. My cock is going to hate me. Perhaps I can skip that business trip. I'm not against staying home with you, Hannah admits, and her cheeks turn a little pink. She looks up at me with her doe eyes, smiling softly. But you must shave your face. I can't stand those little whiskers when you kiss me. It tickles way too much. Tickles. When I do this, I teasingly drag my face up and down the sensitive skin on her neck, holding her so she can't escape. Hannah snorts and then laughs in agony, trying but failing to pull away. My smile only grows. Ah, a new scratch pole, it feels so nice. Hannah laughs out loud. You big oaf, stop doing that. I can't help but play with her even more after she calls me a big oaf. I drag my stubble against her like a cat begging for attention. And she laughs and laughs at me. I'm having good fun, but pause my shenanigans once her phone chimes. Hannah freezes, too, and glares at the device with narrowed eyes. She doesn't seem happy. It must be my mom again. You're sure? She has been bothering me this entire day. I kiss the top of Hannah's head. Keeping my lips and hands away from her for more than 3 seconds is hard when I know I will be gone in 2 weeks. Every second counts now. Though, I can't tell Hannah about my work journey tonight. I will do it tomorrow. I don't want her to be sad during our dinner, and I know she would be devastated and not enjoy her food if she knew. What does your mom want? I ask, choosing to focus on another problem at hand, her family. She wants us to hold a dinner for her. I haven't responded to that, and I'm half terrified she will randomly pop up any day now. Since I'm ignoring her, Hannah sighs heavily. Her mom always manages to give her negative emotions. If you really don't want them in your life, we could invite them to dinner, and I could scare them away. She laughs. How would you scare them away? I kiss her cheek and deadpan. By being myself. Hannah laughs louder at that, and my heart swells. Life is good when my wife is happy, and I'm proud to have made her lips curl. She turns around to hug me, burying her face into my Chest. You are amazing, you know that, right? My fingers are in her soft hair, brushing through the new curls she has made with tender care. I know. Hannah breathes a laugh into my suit. You're not supposed to agree with me, you idiot. She snorts but soon grows quiet. A thoughtful expression crosses her features. I missed taking birth control today, and when I realized that, I was thinking. I have no clue where this conversation will lead. Women are mysterious creatures, but I've learned that smiling and humming get you far, at least then, they don't get mad. Do you want children? This conversation isn't what I expected, but I suppose it's good to have it sooner rather than later. I want plenty of kids, it's the truth. A lively house would be the dream, and since I am so close with my brothers, I think it's important that my children have siblings too for support and friendship. I want many kids too, I think. I feel like I say that now, but I might change my mind after hearing my first one screaming. I chuckle. I doubt that, but yeah, perhaps two is enough. She freezes and looks up at me. Wait, why aren't you freaked out discussing this topic with me? I laugh at that. Hannah is such a weirdo. I love her, but sometimes her expectations are weird. Why should I be freaked out? Because we haven't dated that long, and men, well, don't they usually freak out over these conversations? An asshole would, but I like to think I'm not an asshole. She grimaces. I'm sorry. Are you really worried about this? She nods, and I feel bad the longer I watch her. Worry is written all over her features. There is even a shine in her eye that hints at her being close to tears. Damn it, I'm unsure what Hannah wants from me, but I have a feeling I should just come clean. I don't want her to look so sad. Hannah, I say in a light tone and set some of her hair behind her ear. We are already married, I hardly think we should start worrying about doing things too fast now. She giggles. True, but her smile falters. This is different, this is about kids' actual lives, and I'm just worried. I want children, but I don't want to rush into things. Then again, what if I can't even get pregnant, or if it takes time after quitting birth control? Jesus Christ. Do women ever stop worrying? Hannah's brain is thinking about 1,000 things at once, and I am just at a loss. What does she want me to say? Think. If you want to quit taking birth control, then do it. I want children now, but I can also wait for them. What if I became pregnant tomorrow? Hannah asks in a low tone and studies my face as if searching for something. Would you be unhappy? Or would you be angry that it happened too soon? I'm trying to figure out her train of thought. I think Hannah is trying to tell me that sometimes it takes time to get pregnant, but other times, it can happen right away. And wait, is she worried about it happening right away? I'm unsure of this, but I don't want her to look so concerned. It's silly for her to be concerned since it wouldn't matter. I take her hands in mine, squeezing them. I would be the happiest guy on earth if you became pregnant today. A child would be a blessing, and you would make one hell of a good mother. You are already the best wife a man could ever ask for. So you wouldn't be mad if I got pregnant now? No, I would be happy. That seems to be the right answer. Hannah wraps her arms around me and squeezes me with all her strength. I love you, her voice is muffled, and her makeup is all over my suit, but I don't care. I caress her back and smile. I love you too, more than she can imagine. I'm falling so fast for this woman I might need a parachute. Hannah, I don't know if eating at this restaurant is the best idea. I peer out through the tinted window from Tobias's limousine. He went all out and had a driver take us here. Why not? Tobias asks from behind me. He is also staring at the fancy restaurant and the beeline outside it. Because I'm not the type of girl to order oysters, eat a little, and leave most on my plate like all you wealthy people do. I'm a hungry woman, and honestly, I like comfort food. Tobias leans closer to me, speaking in a sultry voice. This place is all about comfort food. It might be fancy with real chefs, but they have burgers, pizza, and a chocolate milkshake that is to die for. I swear my heart stops in my chest, and I whisper excitingly. Why is the chocolate milkshake to die for? What makes it special? They take an entire chocolate cake. Yes. Tobias's tone goes lower. Leave it to him to make talking about food sound sexy. And throw it into the mixer. At this point, I am getting turned on, and I am not sure if it's the milkshake or Tobias doing it, probably both. My curiosity is growing, and I need to know what they do with this milkshake to keep Tobias talking. I squirm in my seat, whispering, "Go on, don't make a girl suffer. Tell me what else they do to the chocolate cake." He chuckles. They mix it with ice cream and milk until the cake becomes the milkshake. It has chunks and pieces of chocolate in it. It's basically diabetes served in a glass with a straw. I take a deep breath and make up my mind. I have to eat here. As I said earlier, I've already booked us a table. We can skip the line and everything. Happiness is bullying inside me. What else does this restaurant have? Ads by Pub Future. Fries. I think I dropped my panties. And deep sauces, lots of them. Yup. I'm dripping wet and sweating. Somebody better call 911 because there is an emergency. I'm hot as hell and burning up inside this car. I can't wait to order fries and a milkshake. I turn to face Tobias. Well, what are we waiting for? We have to go in and order our food right now. There is a gleam in his eye. Oh, but I thought you said something about not wanting to eat here. That it wasn't a good idea. I changed my mind. I open the door and get out. Tobias seems amused by this and isn't far behind me. He closes the door and teases me some more. If you were born an animal, you would be a cute little puppy. Is that a compliment or an insult? Puppies are cute, but you never know when it comes to Tobias, and I cross my arms over my chest. He can't think I look intimidating because he stifles a laugh. Still, I don't back up. Why a puppy? They can be convinced of anything if given treats. It was an insult. I gape at him but then close my mouth. You will get away with that insult this time, only this time for taking me here. Tobias grins and takes my arm. Like he promised, we don't have to wait in line to get inside. A guard lets us pass, and once inside the restaurant, a waiter's face lights up when they see us. After Mr. and Mrs. Ford, we are taken to our table. It's on the top floor, away from some of the other people. I see VIP signs, and most people are dressed in fancy clothes. I'm in heaven, until I see something I hadn't hoped for. My mom is sitting by one of the tables, and she isn't in my dad's company. It's an older guy, most likely rich, possibly about 40 years older than her. She had me in her 20s and is in her 40s, but the guy, he looks close to 100 with a hunched back and floppy facial skin. He is also bald with these graying spots. Like I have nothing against old people and all, we will all grow old and turn gray. But my mom, is she seriously dating him? Wasn't she back with dad? Ugh, is this her cheating on him? I glare at my mom from my spot in the chair. She is laughing at something the old guy said, but it's her pretense laugh. My mom is an actress when it comes to that. Tobias laughs a bit. Why are you staring at those people? Are they someone you know? It's my mom. I don't know who the man is, but I'm guessing it's the person she is dating. Oh, Tobias turns around in his chair, blinks, and looks back at me with a surprised expression. That would be the owner of this restaurant. Would you like to go and say hi? I shake my head. Nope, I thought as much. We continue our dinner, and I order many different comfort food, fries, mini hamburgers, and a chocolate milkshake. Everything is perfect, but I wince whenever I hear my mom's fake laugh. Does she have to be so loud? I roll my eyes and slurp the milkshake. It tastes delicious, and I break out into a wide smile. You know, it would be really fun to have abs, I say and drink more. But this is too delicious to pass up on. I could never be fit with food like this existing. Tobias breaks out into a laugh, showing me a glimpse of his teeth before he chews on his chicken. I arch an eyebrow at him. What? Nothing. He smiles as if searching for words. I will never tire of the crazy things that come from your mouth. His eyes crinkle. And then he says, "You're cute." I blush in my seat, high on the compliment. I open my mouth to say something, and that's when my mom ruins the entire date. Hannah, my daughter, my treasure. My mom comes up to our table, stupidly drunk and barely able to stand on her high heels. She smiles dumbly at me and hiccups. Then her mood changes, and she sobs. Hannah, my date tells me I'm embarrassing. For getting so drunk, she complains in a whiny tone. Then she turns to face Tobias, widening her eyes as if just realizing I'm here with someone. Well, hello there, Daddy, fancy seeing you here. You come here often. 1. Kill me now, Hannah. My mom is many things, but appropriate isn't one of them. She can barely stand and is laughing in that hiccup way I remember from my childhood. I'm so embarrassed. I don't even dare to look at Tobias but keep my eyes on the table while blood gushes into my ears. I might just be 18, but my mom is why I was forced to grow up way too young. I matured because I had to cook her meals and take care of the dishes she left everywhere in the house. My mom would party, and I slept alone in my bed, waking to her trying to sneak into the house in the morning but failing because she was drunk. And then it would start, her arguing with my dad. He was always drunk, but unlike he didn't leave the house, he was too busy lying dead on the couch. My mom. They spent more time yelling at each other than asking me how I was and how school was going. So yeah, my parents shouldn't even be called parents. They let me down so often when I was young that I can't remember ever coming home and thinking, I missed my mom and dad. Which is why I am close to tears right now. I thought my mom was gone from my life, but here she is, ruining my date with Tobias. How wonderful. Will I ever get rid of her? I love my parents, but good Lord, they are embarrassing. Mrs. Darling, how about you sit down? I look up to find Tobias guiding my mom to a chair by the table next to ours. He has a focused expression and a well-practiced smile on his lips. The one he uses for business, I've realized. I don't want to sit on this chair. My mom pouts and crosses her arms over her chest. It's an odd feeling watching your parent act like a child. I've seen it many times before, but this is the first time I see the reaction of a third party seeing my mom like this. Tobias silently glances at me, and I wonder what he is thinking. Is he feeling sorry for me? I can't help the anxious feeling spreading within me. Even though I don't like how my mom is acting, I still don't want to hear Tobias say anything bad about her. Because as screwed up as it is, I still love her. She is my flesh and blood, so how could I not? I disappear into my own world, blinking when Tobias grabs my hands to help me up from the chair. Are we going somewhere? I ask. I called my driver and a butler. Your mother will be taken to one of my hotels if they can't figure out where she is staying. As for you and me, I think it's time to leave. Does he want to leave because my mom killed the mood, and he doesn't feel the romance? Or does he want to leave because he pities me? I can't tell, and it kills me. I follow him out of the restaurant, past waitresses wishing us a good night while tears prickle behind my eyes. Ads by Pub Future. What is going on inside his head? I don't know if I could take it if Tobias made fun of my mom. If he says something along the terms of, wow, she for sure was drunk, I will cry. It might be true, but I just don't want to endure hearing it. Then again, Tobias's silence might be worse. We get into a cab, and the ride home is long and painful. I'm messed up when we Get out and walk up the stairs to the mansion. I don't fit into your life. Tobias turns around while holding up the door. I don't think he heard what I said, and he tilts his head, looking surprised. Excuse me. Did you say something? My eyes are stinging from the tears. You have everything. A mansion, a nice family, brothers, and a career you're successful. And I'm just trying to figure out where I fit into that. Tobias closes the door after I walk in, scowling. You're just saying that because you're upset. Or maybe I was thinking about it in the back of my head. He winces, and I hate that I hurt him, but I can't help myself. My head is spinning. Tobias and I come from opposite worlds, and I'm stupid, so fucking stupid, for realizing that now. No matter the dresses I wear or the makeup and hairdo, I will always be the girl from the slum with 2 alcoholic parents. I'm dirt, while Tobias is perfect and wealthy. I love you so much, but what if this is a mistake? What if we are just a disaster waiting to happen because we come from different worlds? There is no solid proof for this to work. Proof. Tobias cuts me off. His face is no longer calm, but his eyes are darkened with fury. You need proof, Hannah. I stare at him, face wet with tears. Tobias's nostrils are flaring, and he is breathing hard, but so am I. We are both upset, and my emotions are all over the place. I'm not thinking straight, and when I say nothing, Tobias angrily hangs off his suit where his jackets are. Because if you need proof of us being meant for each other, I can show you exactly what. Need you. There is a dark gleam in his eye. I'm not certain whether to be afraid or intrigued, but his tone pushes me toward being intimidated. We are fighting right now, right? It only makes sense for me to be wary, right? My lips part, but before I can respond and ask Tobias what he means, he advances on me. This tall, hulking man wearing only a white shirt with rolled up sleeves. Shit, I'm not sure what to expect, pain or anger. Fear grips my throat at the same time he reaches me. His hands grip my shoulders, slides further down to my sides, and then I'm hoisted off the ground. But there is no pain. Tobias claims my mouth, and shock seeps through me. My heart is drumming in my ears, and I don't know what is happening. All I know is that I kiss him back, feverishly, desperately, passionately. My fingers wind up in his brown, almost blonde hair. I don't know what color it is, but it doesn't matter. It's soft and smells nice. And I let his tongue control mine as we enter another room. Tobias's clothes come off. Mine drop on the floor too, but I'm barely able to register the change. I'm too busy kissing him back, so invested in him that it comes as a shock when I realize we are sitting on the couch. I break from his lips. The couch. You have a problem with that? He asks in a sultry tone and guides me to turn around while sitting in his lap. It confuses me. Our position. My naked back is presented to Tobias, who bites my shoulder and nips at the skin. I shudder in response and squirm in his lap. My feet are above the ground, and my thighs rest over his thicker, more muscular ones. I'm going to use you tonight, Tobias whispers. I'm going to take my selfish pleasure, but you will like it. Do you know why? Because you love it. You are a dirty girl who loves getting used. I suck in a deep breath, loving the darker tone in his voice. I'm not sure when this changed to be about sex, but I can't complain. My sex is swollen, and Tobias's hard cock is right underneath me. Tobias kisses my neck from behind and fondles my naked breast. His hands are large but gentle. It's a nice contrast from his voice, which is just pure darkness and seduction. I'm going to sink my cock deep inside your wet pussy and lift you up and down until I come. I will selfishly pump into you, and I won't stop no matter what you say because I'm proving a point. One of his fingers is playing with my clit, and I close my eyes, barely able to find my voice. What point? The point that you and I are made for each other, Hannah. You make me smile and laugh, and you also have a high tolerance for what I like. In fact, you like being dominated by me, don't you? I'm so wet that I'm close to rubbing against his cock, but I can't, not yet. I have things I want to say. I'm afraid of you. Why? Tobias asks. Because of how vulnerable you make me. He kisses my neck, inhaling the scent of my hair. Vulnerable because I'm the only man you have ever loved. There is a lump in my throat that I fiercely swallow. Yes. Tobias breathes a laugh, smiling against my skin. If you think admitting that you love me will get rid of me, you're wrong. I'm not going anywhere, and I refuse to give you up. We won't last. What makes you say that? We're too happy. His hands turn gentler, and he caresses my breasts. That vulnerability you're feeling is the price you pay for love, Hannah. I've learned that you can't win the jackpot without being a player in the game. So when Sarah broke my heart, I thought, no more women. That way, my heart can't be broken again, but I met you. And I changed my mind. I'm close to tears again, but for a whole other reason. And I was worth the risk. I ask in a low voice. You were, Tobias responds. You are the best thing that has ever happened to me. Hannah, do you have to go on this business trip? I ask Tobias. We are snuggling in bed after having sex, and funnily enough, I'm the big spoon. Though, I can't say I'm complaining. My man needs to feel precious and taken care of. Sometimes, I bet his employees would find it funny if they knew that. Tobias likes being fist about. He is really enjoying my hands massaging his sculpted, muscular back. Oh, that feels nice. Tobias mumbles and stretches like a cat when I need his back harder. It makes his ass jut out, but I'm deliberately ignoring it. I would get horny again if I touched it. I continue to work his back and remind him about the topic. About that business trip. Right. Tobias inhales. Before I go, we should get a restraining order against your mom. I don't want her showing up at your college or something while I'm gone. That would be a good idea. As sad as it is, it would be wise. I love my mom, but I want to finish my exams in peace. Any friend you could invite here while, understandable. Tobias is quiet for a while. Is there I'm gone. I don't like leaving you alone in such a large mansion. If you don't have one, I will call Winnie. A smile flits over my lips. Winnie seemed nice, and I wouldn't mind her coming over. It would be amazing to make friends with her, especially if she ends up together with one of Tobias's brothers. I would love it if you called her, and then, maybe I can ask Caroline to come over too. I haven't seen her since the fire, but she recently asked if I wanted to go out and look at Andrew's hockey match. She said the game isn't important, but she wants to check out the players. Tobias turns tense at that, and then he grumbles. I'm the only man you should be checking out. Ads by Pub Future. I snort in amusement. I know. This is for Caroline, not for me. She is single and looking for a man. Tobias relaxes a little, then mutters. Do you promise you won't be looking at some other man's abs while I'm gone? Does he actually think I would do that? Even after I basically revealed that he is the only man for me. You're the only man that I want, I murmur into his back. He smells nice, and I kiss his smooth, hot skin. When Tobias leaves for Europe, the days slow down. I study in the mornings and watch TV with Caroline and Winnie late at night. They both agreed on coming on over. It makes sleeping easier now that my man is gone. I don't have to fear the dark when all three of us lounge and live in the living room. But the thing that is worrying is that our diet consists of chocolate, cake, chips, coal, and lots of ranch dip. Every day is a sleepover, and we are just lazy. But after a month of living the dream, Caroline raises an eyebrow at me. Damn, Hannah, not to be mean, but I think you should slow down on the cake. I blink at her from my place in the armchair. I'm devouring a chocolate cake and follow her gaze to my stomach. I frown. Yeah, perhaps it's time to get a gym membership. Winnie laughs. Are you sure you're not pregnant? You quit birth control. But even on those pills, you aren't 100% safe. Like, what if Tobias got you pregnant way before he left? Because I hate to say it, but you look more than a month pregnant. That would be the dream, I say softly, looking down at what resembles a baby bump. But, the test showed negative this morning. Oh, well, sometimes those tests aren't that reliable. Caroline pops chips into her mouth and chews. I had a friend whose test showed negative until she was 6 months pregnant. My hope threatens to spiral again, but I smash it down. I won't let myself think I'm pregnant when I'm probably not. I want to be. But, what if I want it too much? It might be a phantom pregnancy. I caress my stomach with a pout to my lips. I want to have a baby so much that my body responds by making me fake pregnant. It's rare, but it can happen. Ow, Hannah. Winnie's face is filled with sympathy. It will happen, eventually, and if it doesn't, then your husband have more than enough money to take you to some clinic. What if I'm infertile? I tear up at my own words. They sadden me because I want Tobias's kid. Sure, adoption is an option. But, I rather it did not come to that. If you're so worried, we should definitely visit a clinic, Winnie says and nods at my wallet. Tobias left you with your debit card connected to his account, right? We should go tomorrow. I'm sure a private clinic would take you in immediately for the right price. I swallow thickly. But won't Tobias be mad that I'm wasting his money? No. And especially not if you tell him what you used it for. That guy is dying to have a big family, Winnie points out and sighs. Dreamingly. I need to find myself a man. Winnie wants a man. Well, this is new. Should I tell my friend Jake to strike while the iron is hot? Or maybe she is into Mark. They are both fine men, she can't go wrong with either pick. Caroline groans. Winnie, I'm sorry, but this conversation wasn't about you. I get that you need to get laid and lose your V card. I do, but could we please focus on Hannah's baby problem first? Right. Winnie scratches behind her ear while thinking. We should book you a time at the clinic. And before you cry about using your husband's money, trust me, Tobias won't mind. He will thank you later when there is a baby in your arms. Winnie is probably right. Tobias expressed his yearning for a baby, and I doubt he would be mad if I went to a clinic. If he knew, he would probably encourage me. Should I tell him when he calls me later? Tobias calls me every night, but I want to keep this to myself, only for now. Is that wrong? Probably. Still, it's very sensitive to talk about over the phone. I can tell Tobias all about it when he comes back home. For now, I will investigate on my own. Okay. I look at my friends, determined. Let's go to a clinic and see if I'm pregnant. Perhaps I could have them check in. Ensure I'm not infertile while we are at it. My biggest fear would come true if I couldn't have children. Tobias wants to become a dad, and I'm worried that if I'm infertile, it might become a deal breaker. What if he leaves me? He would have a good reason, then. Tobias, it's been close to 5 weeks since I left Hannah, and I hate to say it, but I will have to stay in this country for longer than 6 weeks. The newly built hotel in southern Sweden is in utter chaos. The people they hired are unfriendly and unsuited to be my staff, and I've decided to personally run interviews to find people to hire. It's a pain in the fucking ass, but I have to do this. It's important the people working for me carry the friendly spirit that Ford hotels stand for. I'm sure Hannah will understand when I call her. I miss her like crazy, and after this nightmare of a recruitment train is over, I'm taking time off work for a month. I want to teach Hannah how to drive and take her on a road trip along the coast. Eat good food, watch the sunset, and go swimming as much as possible, possibly even surfing. My brothers and I are all talented at that, but Mark is the best one on the board. Tobias. Hook up from my computer and do a half spin in my chair. As usual, Sarah doesn't knock. She is standing in my office with a nervous smile on her lips, and I resist the urge to sigh. What do you want? I can't hide the irritation in my voice. Sarah doesn't deserve it, but I can't help it. Seeing her just sets me off in a bad mood. I can't relax around her, probably because we have so much history. Nothing special, I'm just, she takes her freedom to sit in the chair in front of my desk. I know that you chose Hannah. And I respect that. I do, but I would still like to talk. I notice she must have done another surgery on her face. This time, her cheeks are sharper. She looks skinnier, too, Ads by Pub Future. Did she use Daniel's money? I find it odd that Sarah had another surgery. I thought she divorced Daniel. Does her surgery mean she took a lot of his assets with her? Probably. I mean, she is still on the board and everything. Alright, I say, relaxing my shoulders because there is an odd air around Sarah. She seems less edgy. What do you want to talk about? Sarah takes a deep, shuddering breath. I'm just going to come on out and say it. As you may have noticed, I've lost a lot of weight. Yes. I look her up and down. Sarah looks as thin and white as a ghost these days, but that's none of my business to point out. It's hard not to notice that you're rather thin. It's because of my condition, she grimaces. I suffer from cachexia. It eats your muscles and usually leads to extreme weight loss. I stare at her, eyes hard. But to get that symptom, I can't say it, and Sarah gives me a sad smile. I'm going to die, Tobias. My cancer was discovered too late, and I've been given a year. Perhaps I die before a year has passed. Or maybe I live a little longer, but that is unlikely. My chest draws tight, and to make matters worse, Sarah sits there and smiles. As if she isn't dying. I also suspect she can read my mind and knows I care because her lips twitch. Look, you don't have to say anything, but I want you to know that I'm divorcing Daniel because I understood who I'm in love with. Way too late. I thought I could forget about when I found that I was dying. It wasn't Daniel who I wanted beside me. It was you. But I stare at her, entirely speechless. It all makes sense now. Sarah used to be manipulative and sneaky. She got together with Daniel to make me jealous, to make me beg to get her back. And the reason she came back for me, divorced Daniel, and wanted me back as her husband or boyfriend so suddenly must be because, shit, I suck sticky air into my lungs, barely able to talk without my conflicting emotions bleeding into my voice. You knew, didn't you? You've known for a while and didn't tell me. This is why Daniel came to me and said he just wished for you to be happy. He also knew you were dying. Correct. This is why he isn't angry with me. Daniel knows I won't be around for long and respects my dying wish, which is for you and me to get another chance. Sarah. Pain laces my voice. You know that I'm with Hannah. She is my wife. Even if you were dying, I can't. I'm sure she would understand if you said I was dying. Sarah tries and reaches out her arm to place her cold, smaller hand over mine. When I look at her, her bottom lip trembles. One date is all I ask for, and everything will be fine. I will give you and Hannah my blessing, but I want just one night of you and me talking over wine. We don't have to kiss or hug. Just hang out and talk about life, the future, and us. That sounds a lot like cheating. It won't be, Sarah assures me. Her hand is clutching mine. Not if you tell Hannah about it. Just tell her the truth, I'm sure she won't mind. Come on, Tobias. I'm desperate and dying. I pause, hesitating about what to say or do. There is a constricting feeling within me. I'm hurting for Sarah. I feel sorry for her, but taking her out on a date feels wrong. I can't. Why not? Sarah's eyes are shiny with tears, and her voice is a barely audible whisper. It hurts seeing my ex-wife like this, so in love with me and filled with want when my whole heart belongs to someone else. It's painful because, yes, I love Hannah more than anything in this world, but once upon a time, I would have done anything for Sarah. Funny how the heart can have a change of mind. I gently remove her hand from mine. Because while you will die happy having had your last night with me, eating dinner with you will cause future problems between my wife and me. Hannah might think I'm only with her because you're dead, which isn't true. She is my choice, and I must stick with that choice while you're alive. But what if she doesn't have to know? Sarah asks. What if we head out for dinner, just you and I, one last time, and Hannah doesn't have to know about it. Hannah, I'm restless, and I don't know why. Tobias hasn't answered his phone for 2 days. I know he is busy. And yes, I know we are in different time zones, but I can't help but worry. Did something happen to him? I have this terrible feeling in my gut. It churns and feels like a growing hole, making it impossible to relax. Why won't my husband answer his phone? I want to tell him the good news, goddamn it. My eyes water. Tobias, I'm pregnant. We will have twins. My hand travels to my stomach in the night. I'm happy but also afraid of the darkness enveloping me. It was a mistake to pick this room. I'm sleeping on the top floor, alone without a night light on. It's scary. I wish Tobias was here. Without him by my side, every sound got my heart pounding fast. Ugh, I should have put it light on before I went to bed. I'm afraid of the dark. Though, when I fell asleep, the sun was shining. But it's not anymore, and I'm not asleep. My head is spinning too fast, but I know there is no point in staying awake. If I fall asleep, maybe Tobias will have responded to my messages by the time I wake up. I try to close my eyes and fall asleep by force, but then I hear something shatter downstairs. It sounds like glass, and I bolt upright, eyes wide and my heart drumming too fast. Is it a robber? I listen in silence and hear footsteps going up the stairs. Are they heading over here? Damn it. Why did I let the butlers take a day off to have an after work? That was such a big mistake. My eyes dart around the room. I can't see anything in the darkness and decide the best defense is to hide under the blanket. When I hear the door open to the bedroom, they are here. Shit. Ads by Pub Future. I close my eyes, freezing when I hear the robber click on the light. Then I wait for what feels like an eternity before I hear rumbling laughter. It sounds very familiar. Hannah, it's Tobias. What the heck are you doing? Why are you in a foster position under the blanket? Is Tobias really back home? I get rid of the blanket and peer up at my laughing husband. His brownish, blonde hair has been cut. It's longer at the top, and his dazzling teeth show in his smile. My chest constricts. I've missed Tobias so much that I'm close to tears from just seeing his face. He is so beautiful wearing light jeans and a gray sweater that hugs his round pecs and broad shoulders. His are lit, his smile is warm and inviting, and I sob. Tobias. I whisper. You're home. Eyes. I am. His lips quirk up higher. I'm sorry for not answering the phone. I wanted to surprise you, but it got pretty late, so I thought I would sneak into the bedroom so you could wake up with me by your side. But that plan failed when I broke a vase downstairs. You broke a vase. I was in too much of a hurry to see your face again. Oh, the sweet man. I stand up from the bed and rush across the room with outstretched arms to hug the life out of him. I've missed you so much. My arms wrap around Tobias immediately, and he laughs at my eagerness. Someone is clingy tonight. Can you blame me? I sound as offended as I feel. Of course, I've missed his ass. You've been gone forever. Tobias's smile is wide, and I press my face into his broad chest, inhaling his cologne. He has a new one. This one smells like Christmas, and I rub myself against him, wanting it everywhere. On me. Tobias snorts. Missed you too. I've missed you more, and damn, this sweater. I say, sliding my hands over the hard plates of his chest. He is a living wall of muscles. I could get used to this look on you. Don't, Tobias warns me. When I'm with you, I want to be naked, not be stuck in clothes that keep your hands away from me. I giggle and look up into his eyes while stroking his chest. Is someone addicted to being touched? I want your hands all over me. If you want me to touch you. I'm playing with his peck, weighing it in my palm. Then I bet you have no time touching little me. Then, there is always time for that. Tobias's voice has gone husky, and he shudders when I step closer. We are almost glued together now. How fun. I stroke Tobias's hardened nipple through his sweater with my fingertip, smiling seductively. Did you work out while you were gone? I did. I can tell, you're so hard. Sexy. Big. Large. I've been dreaming about your face between my legs and my thighs resting on your broad shoulders, Tobias. His eyes roam over my face, and his eyebrows are raised. I'm never this frisky over text, so he must be shocked. You have. Oh. I smile wider. I want you to eat me out. Do you want to do that? Do you wish to give me pleasure? I think you know the answer to that. Tobias growls and bends down to pick me up into his arms. I laugh in surprise and let him take me back to the bed with his lips nipping at my neck. I've missed you so fucking much. I just want to kiss you everywhere. His kisses are sloppy and messy, and I laugh as I lean against the pillows with Tobias on my breasts. Stop. You are going to kill my Lady Bonner by being a complete barbarian. Kill it. Tobias sounds amused and glances up at me while his hand buries between my legs, finding my heat. You are gushing. I grimace. Please don't use that word. Moist. I snort. Stop that. Those words are fucking disgusting. A challenge lights up in Tobias's eyes, but he says nothing. Instead, he dips down and latches his mouth on my clit. He licks and flicks it, sucking it while moving his tongue. It feels wonderful, but then he takes a pause and ruins everything by speaking. I'm going to insert my salami between your legs. Oh my fucking god, just behave. Be sexy and not repulsive. He chuckles. You may call me repulsive, but we both know you are soaking wet right now, Hannah. It must be my dirty words. Turning you on something terribly. I snort. No, it's not, but you can think that all you like. I let my hand slide underneath his sweater. You're harder than rock. Like I remember you being ripped, but really. Tobias chuckles. Why don't we get naked in bed, and you can further explore me there? I laugh and beam up at him. I like the idea of that. First sex, then I will announce that I'm pregnant, that's the plan. Hannah. Thunder crashes over the house in the middle of the night, and I wake up in Tobias's arms. It's still not morning, and it's only been 2 hours since we fell asleep after our steamy sex session. I should fall back asleep, but I hate storms. I press my ass further back into Tobias. He mutters something in his sleep and presses his big palm harder against my stomach, which flutters in response. I have yet to tell Tobias that I will have another reason for calling him daddy soon. It will be done in the morning. I meant to tell Tobias the big news after the sex, but we fell asleep. Smiling, I press myself further into Tobias, about to close my eyes, but his phone's sudden light makes me glare at it. A message. I know I shouldn't, his phone is private. There is a slight vibration from it, another message, and I reach out my hand to pick it up from the bedside table. My stomach is twisting and turning, knowing this infringes on Tobias's privacy. Still, I don't put the phone down. I swipe my fingers over it, remembering the unlock code from watching Tobias open his phone plenty of times, and then I see the messages. Some are from earlier today, and I decide to read them all from the beginning to understand what is happening. Sarah. You a fucking fool. Sarah. I'm dying, and you won't even take me out to dinner. Do you understand how selfish that is? Sarah. You loved me once, and now, because you married that slut, it suddenly means nothing. I swallow thickly. My heart is thumping quickly, and my hands are shaking at the names Sarah calls me in vibrant letters. I'm skimming through more of her messages, but I already get the gist. Sarah has cancer. Tobias refused to take her out to dinner. But, if that is the case, where has Tobias been? He didn't respond to text messages for 2 days. I wasn't going to bring it up. Like, I get that he might have been busy, but I'm worried. Now, I clutch the phone and turn tense when I feel Tobias shifting behind me. He is awake and reaches around me to put on the light. For some reason, that makes me nervous. Will Tobias get angry that I snooped and went through his text messages? Probably. I wait to see what he says. Quote, I should have come directly home. Tobias says from behind me. I can feel his breath on the skin between my shoulder blades. He takes the phone and places it back on the bedside table. I should have talked to you, but I didn't, and I am sorry. What did you do instead? I ask in a voice full of suspicion and turn around in the bed to face. Ads by Pub Future. Him. I'm half convinced that Tobias went to a bar, which wouldn't be good. Drinking isn't the answer, and I dislike that all movies and TV series make it seem like the solution when you are feeling down. Tobias grins once our eyes meet. I didn't go drinking if that's what you are thinking. I'm surprised. So, where did you go? I narrow my gaze, willing myself not to fall victim to his beautiful eyes. It doesn't take 2 days to travel back from Europe, a few hours, yes. And get that sleeping and waiting for flights take time, but I inhale. Were you avoiding me? At first, yes. That answer makes me sad. Well, that sucks, but I'm glad you are admitting it to me. He grimaces. It won't happen again. Despite my inner turmoil, I laugh. I fucking hope not. You are only getting out of this because I know how hard it must have been. For you. Sarah was your first love, and any other man might have cheated. I didn't cheat. I get that from the text messages. I give him a half smile. Sarah's anger shouldn't amuse me, but it does. Sarah seems very upset that you didn't ruin our relationship for the sake of one night with her. Humor is written over Tobias's handsome face. You are a little rat for checking my phone. True. Checking your partner's phone is disgusting and proves I don't trust Tobias as much as I should. I don't want to be one of those jealous girls who micromanage their partner. I'm sorry for doing that. I mean it. Tobias breathes a laugh, smiling. I don't mind. It's not like there's something I'm trying to hide from you. I lift an eyebrow. Okay, excuse me for asking this, but if you got nothing to hide, what did you do before coming home? The first few hours were spent staring out into nothingness and trying to figure out what I wanted. The conclusion is that even though Sarah is dying, I still don't wish to let her back into my life. Not even for a second. All I want is you. But I decided I needed to compensate since I momentarily got sidetracked and spent hours staring into a wall when I should have come home to you. And you are compensating by getting me this gift. I ask. Yes, he smiles wickedly. That's exactly it. I went somewhere to get you a present. Proof of my devotion. The price was low, but the woman who sold the damn thing to me was persistent that I came and met her in person. She almost didn't want to sell it to me. It was like an interview, the hardest I've had since the woman's trust couldn't be bought. She didn't give a damn that I was a billionaire. She wanted to know if my heart was good. But after coffee, mowing her lawn, and basically pretending to be better than I am, she finally sold the thing to me. 1. What the heck did you buy? I'm extremely curious right now and can't keep the laughter from my voice. That easy, lazy smile plays over Tobias's lips as he lies outstretched in the bed like a Greek god. Why don't you head downstairs to see for yourself? It's waiting for you in the hallway. I will definitely check out what you got me. My lips curl into a smile, and I climb off the bed without hesitation. I will wait here, Tobias says and pulls the blanket up to his chin. There are dark circles around his eyes. If you don't mind, you can fall back asleep. I will be right back. He chuckles. You can bring the gift into the bedroom. The only reason I didn't is that I wanted to have sex. By now, my curiosity is through the roof. What did you get me? Go check for yourself. It must be something good if the woman wanted to meet you in person and held an interview. I pause. It's not drugs, is it? Tobias snorts. You think I would get your drugs? No, but whatever you bought me better be good. It is. Tobias's confidence makes me smile, and I walk toward the door. Be right back then. Don't forget about me. Why would the gift make me forget him? Don't presents usually work the other way around. Tobias's words confuse me, but I know that staying here won't help settle my growing curiosity. So I set course for the stairs, running them down until I am standing in the hallway. Everything is dark, but I hear something moving. Wait, is that whining? Could the present be a? Press the light switch, and my mouth falls open at something pink thing looks like a bag but is as large as a cage. Since I know nothing about dog transporting, I have no clue what to call the bag. But what I do know is that Tobias bought me a dog. I stalk towards it, dazed and happy as I peer down at a dachshund, dapple dachshund, a grey and brown speckled little thing. So utterly adorable. My heart swells, and then I hear Tobias shouting in an amused voice from upstairs. A house isn't a home without a dog. I laugh at that because I agree, and then I meet the curious eyes of the little puppy. It's adorable. I don't know its gender, but I've already fallen in love, which means Tobias might be in trouble. Cuddle with my husband. What husband? All I see is a puppy that will be the victim of my love. And with my motherly instincts coming to play, the puppy might drown with all the love I have to give it. Then, once the baby comes, I will ensure the dog and the baby get along under my supervision. Of course, I squat down in front of the dog. You've come to the right family, Lau. We are all dog lovers here. The dog stares at me with a shaking body, but he or she is wagging its tail, and I just know we will get along just fine.